Noodle started working on the initial sketches of the album while we were all still kind of preoccupied, you know. Lucky for her, I'd left a very specific set of instructions as to how the new song should, you know, sound.
That was just a tape of you humming.
Gotcha.
Actually, Noodle wrote most of the album herself. Murdoch may try to take the credit for it, but from the basic sketches to the finished album, this was Noodle's vision.
Hi. So, I started writing near the beginning of the year. Around March of 2004, I began just writing basic tunes on my Tascam 4-track, sketching out ideas as I proceeded. Once I had what I felt to be the main outline and template for the album, I started laying further textures, melodies and sounds over the top. The compositions began to take shape, and gradually the songs began revealing their true identities and to which direction they needed to be taken. But at this stage, they lacked that certain life and still required that spark of electricity that transforms a great song into something that has a magical life of its own.
Well, you know, I would have helped her out, but as I said, I was still in jail at this time, you know.
And yes, and it was around then that I heard of DJ Danger Mouse. I was impressed with the work he had done on his own Grey album, which I had downloaded from the internet. On the Grey album, he had spliced together the work of the Beatles and Jay-Z to create something new. It was wonderfully inventive and showed a childlike creativity, artistic bravery and disregard for convention that I thought suited Gorillaz. So I contacted him.
Then what happened?
Well, it took a while to convince him to work with Gorillaz.
Yeah, I think he was at ease relaxing on his new island. Just kind of burning through all the cash he made off the Grey album sales.
Well, he wasn't overly keen on leaving sunny LA to go and work in a rundown, haunted studio in rain-sodden Essex. Although, I can't think why.
Me neither.
But, Gorillaz have ways of making it work.
Shh.
The album took a leap into the incredible when the producer Danger Mouse finally arrived. This would be around June 2004. Mr. Mouse and myself immediately began an intricate pre-production session.
Yeah, this mainly involved sort of playing table tennis and listening to a load of old electro records. He's an odd-looking fellow, you know, that Danger Mouse. He's got like this, you know, sort of like huge hair, you know. No, I mean really, really big hair. He looks a little bit like that David Blaine cat, you know, with a wig, like he's got a wig on. You know?
No. Yes, so the recording session became more intense, and the more we proceeded, the more in synchronization we became. Danger Mouse is a very instinctive and insightful producer. He looks to find the relevance or sort of a song. And then once he had located a particular voice of a track, he will then make it talk to the other compositions around it. This way, the album works as a complete article. As the full understanding of what we were making became apparent, we began to draft in various collaborators to add certain souls to the relevant tracks. Each artist would have to complete the expedition all the way to the summit of Kong Studios in order to record.
Although some of the latest submissions have been delivered via digital phone lines from around the globe.
So I finally got back around October, then what's his name? 2D turned out.
Hello?
Then Big Russell got back from his little mental vacation late last November.
Noodle and Danger Mouse basically called us in to do our parts. For 2D to do his vocals, Murdoch to redo some bass lines, and any other collaborators were called in as and when we needed them. But apart from that, they've been highly secretive about the whole recording. They didn't even let other Gorillaz really hear it.
Yeah, didn't want to.
Finally, when we knew we had what we needed, we all fled the confines of Kong and set up camp over at the Pierce Rooms in West London. It was here that we added the last of the overdubs and worked on the final mixdown.
Oh, I'm bored of all this. Oh, anyone fancy a quick behind?
Shut up, man.
And it was during this period that we isolated the songs which, although were stand-out tracks musically, didn't fit in with the overall sensibility of the album. They were then removed, yes. And there was a songs that seemed maybe part of a different dialogue and would have interrupted the arc of the album's narrative. It had to be focused and efficient, a consistent thought. Yes.
You see, it's all in the edit. The album was then mastered over in New York, January 2005, and that was it, completed.
Yeah, well, so it came out pretty well like I told her to make it in the first place.
The album opens with an ominous swirling soundscape of voodoo-esque percussion, keyboard bassoons, and sirens.
You can tell there's big trouble ahead.
This uses a sample taken from the George Romero film, Dawn of the Dead. We use this because it expressed a similar sense of foreboding about the world that we feel at this time too. There's a sense that people in some certain quarters are working on motorized instinct as unthinking automatons rather than with any genuine humanity, sensitivity or understanding of the consequences of their actions.
No, I thought we used it because I like the zombie films, yeah? There's this wicked bit, right, when the zombies tear off the biker's arm, yeah?
Yeah, well, whatever, you know. It's from some stupid zombie flick, and we thought it set the rest of the album up quite well. Next.
This is built up around a simple rhythm. Sonically, there's a nod to the early drum machine sounds that appeared on the second specials
Yeah,
album.
well, it's like a kind of dub meets like European cinema thing.
Yes, thematically, it's a continuation of the intro sensibility. Sometimes the climate we live in can make you feel like you are one of the few sentient beings left. That maybe the ability to have sensitivity to life can make you feel like the outsider.
A lone trooper.
The spirits of the moment can be quite isolating. The evidence that we are sometimes presented is that being conscious and cautious of your actions can be viewed as a weakness or hindrance, and not necessarily the most useful ability in this day and age.
Yeah. Anyway,
It can make you feel like the last living souls on earth, good or bad. Musically, the sense of introspection is reflected in the acoustic and piano refrains. It's a harmonious battle between digital and acoustic.
and if you listen really closely, there's some old geezer coughing in the background. Oh.
This is a more down-tempo track, like nighttime maneuvers, the equivalent of creeping up on the enemy.
Hey, and as a progression of the album's narrative, there is a sense of being forced into a position of having to arm your children. The arms are ambiguous, but there is a definite sense of conflict on the way. Desensitize yourself before you get taken advantage of. They're turning us into monsters is an expression of that transition of training people how to lose their compassion.
It's a jungle out there.
Yeah, sometimes it makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
What's the name of the girl who sings on this one? Lovely lady. Very helpful.
Thank you. This track features a guest vocal from Nina Cherry. I loved her Raw Like Sushi Bigo album. She's always had a positive collaborative attitude towards music. 7 Seconds with Yusundor is a superlative tune.
Yes, and towards the outro, there is a moment of subdued tension that then allows itself to explode into space, and then the track soars off into the distance.
A repetitive piano note stabs away like a slowed-down version of the Stooges. The restraint in the earlier section of the song is actually what gives it the power at the end.
So, and the key is maybe in the word pacify.
You know, if I have to die, I want to go in my sleep like my dad. Not screaming and like yelling like all his passengers.
This song is the sound of someone's train coming off its coasters, the march of the madman. We gave 2D's vocals a distorted megaphone effect as this fitted the soul of the track. It is to make the vocal section seem like a memory from the past.
Yeah, like some old vaudeville track.
Yeah, like some old vaudeville track.
Is there an echo in here?
And some of the spooky sounds on this track were caught on tape by accident. It is believed that they are the mysterious recordings of paranormal experiences going on at the Kong Studios. If you listen really carefully, you can hear a growling and whispering in the background. For this reason, this track was almost left off the album, but it was decided it should remain as the track came out so well.
And it's not like Gorillaz aren't used to dealing with runaway spirits.
Musically, there's a tip of the hat to Bernard Herrmann's atonal string score from the Hitchcock movie Psycho.
And the intention of the vocal line is a reminder to keep a little greenery in your heart, or you may forget what you are fighting for in the first place. And that really is the domain of the undead.
Yeah, this one ends ominously on the haunting sound of a bell ringing into the distance.
Ask not for whom the bell tolls.
Oh, why not?
It tolls for thee.
Really?
Yes, really.
It sounds like my alarm clock.
Exactly.
This was one of the first tracks I worked on with DJ Danger Mouse. It evolved from a tape recording from an old Gorillaz jam. Danger Mouse added the kids' choir, the San Fernandez Youth Chorus. When they heard the track, they were really excited to sing along on it.
Kids, little treasures. I love them. Couldn't eat a whole one, though.
This track is a real upbeat, defiant, jubilant soul. Musically, it's got a real old-school break cut up in it. I play the kind of Clyde Stubblefield, Bernard Purdy rhythm. Those two were so massive in my drum palette, the foundations of hip-hop, you dig? I also try to add a little feel of Zigaboo release from the meters. And once I had the swing and the sound right, I then cut up the drums again to give it that extra sharp edge. That's when 2D added the clavinet keyboard rhythms.
Yeah, that was just something I heard on Sesame Street.
The rap on this verse is supplied by Booty Brown from the Far Side, who came in courtesy of a friendship with Danger Mouse.
Yes, and we talked with him about the general themes and atmospheres rather than anything specific. But he hit the nail on the head with this great rap. I feel that Booty's rap humanizes the position of the soldier, the fighter as an individual.
War will make soldiers of us all. The rap's got some killer lines. You can't conceal the hate that consumes you. I'm the reason you can fill up your Azuzu. Poetry, man.
With this track, there's a sense of infecting the young. As a civilization, we seem to be taking something of their innocence away with a lot of images of conflict that are constantly being displayed.
For a lot of kids, their earliest memories will be these dramatic images. That's like putting chemicals in the food chain. These kids are growing up out of a climate of conflict where intolerance has been encouraged and there's a sense of fighting for something you're being manipulated into backing. It can't be good in the long run.
No, can't be.
And this addition of the arabesque string section, I think, provides a balanced view musically.
Don't patronize your kids. They pick up on more than you realize. I think one of the core reasons why Gorillaz are successful is that we never patronize kids. Their understanding and intelligence is already in there, right from the beginning.
Russell, if you touch my leg one more time in this interview, I'm calling the cops, okay?
This track, Feel Good Inc., was chosen to be the first single from the album. We thought it would be an upbeat and dynamic return.
Part Billie Jean, part Rockwell. The beat on this is as infectious as influenza. We asked our friends De La Soul to lend a rap to the song, so they came over to the studio and hung out for the day. In the evening, they delivered this crazy, gooning, fun-filled rap.
Yeah, sounds like a bunch of kids trapped in a photo booth.
3 Foot High and Rising was such a milestone record in terms of giving a lot of people an entry point into hip-hop. A huge statement of intent. So colorful, so full of life and humor, and just real good energy. Their Daisy Age motif stood for the inner soul, y'all. So you know they're heading in the right direction.
They also have a playfulness when it comes to cutting and pasting different styles together.
It's rare in hip-hop to have a track like this that really works at this speed. A real up-tempo beat.
That reminds me, Pastor Noose still owes me £5. Yeah, I'll give him a call.
The windmill imagery line is a representation of a note of optimism, a memory of a simpler time, like maybe a snapshot of an older world, more innocent.
The production on Tootie's vocal passages reflects this sensibility again, like an image beaming at you from the past. A ghost of a memory.
However, it is for this reason that we remove the effect for the second appearance of this section in the song, so that this image becomes more direct, clear and present.
Then it drops straight back down into De La Soul's nitrous oxide-filled rap. Coupled with the heavyweight beat, this cut is unstoppable.
Yeah, heavy.
Shut up, man.
Wow.